Welcome to a journey in soul discovery. I'm your host, Adrienne Nicastro, from Pathways to Inner Peace. We each have the power within us to transform our lives. Our desire to grow brings new opportunities, journeys of metamorphosis that arrive special delivery from the universe. Through your intentions, the world heard your call, leading you to this podcast and the adventures in soul discovery that you'll find here. Support, guidance, and practical tools for living and navigating our human world with more love, peace, and joy. This is what I endeavor to offer. I hope you find what you're looking for here. For more information, please visit me at www.pathways2innerpeace.com. Be blessed.
Tell you that you're living them too. As such, feelings of confusion, doubt, and insecurity may be lurking in the corners of your mind. Or maybe they even plopped themselves down at your breakfast table, refusing to leave. We all have encountered intense changes to life as we know it. I think it's fair to say that loss in general is at the forefront of our daily life. Loss of freedom, of routine and daily predictability, loss of social contact, reduced or lost income or business, just to name a few. Added to this already heavy state, you might be experiencing loss of a relationship or loved ones due to a change of heart, old age, or even more commonly, a disease like COVID. Today's podcast comes with assistance to deal with oppressive feelings of loss and the pain and uncertainty that accompany it. What you'll find are tools for working with what you're experiencing and hopefully discover relief and a new perspective to help you move forward. Experiencing painful emotions isn't usually a fun endeavor. It's called pain for a reason. Mental anguish and emotional pain can even register in the body as a multitude of symptoms from body discomfort, headaches, and stomach distress to restlessness or lethargy. Some of us may even have difficulty wanting to get out of bed. Others may not even be able to sit still. Many may find themselves swirling in overwhelming thoughts, others consumed by grief and sadness. All physical pain and dis-ease on a metaphysical level is the manifestation of some kind of unresolved turmoil that finally brings and finds expression in our physical form. So if you're experiencing symptoms, solving the mystery of your physical discomfort means getting to the root of your emotional and mental pain. What kind of tools can you employ to bring the process of dealing with intense, uncomfortable, and distressing feelings? We're going to look at 8 tools to help you on your path. All come with suggestions for you to explore and ideas to ponder. Paper or a journal might be in order to take notes as you listen along. All you find here are intended as tools for a toolbox in dealing with loss, grief, and other challenging experiences. So let's begin with tool number 1. This tool is called getting familiar with your internal climate. The first order of business to navigating loss or challenges like those that stand before us in these turbulent times is to get familiar with your internal climate. This means being with yourself in quiet to become familiar with your internal state. Seeking time away from distractions, noise, and people offers a space where you can reflect and write about your thoughts and feelings, non-judgmentally observing what's present. Notice I said non-judgmentally. That is extremely important. As such, you can even draw a picture, paint, or find a way to express in ways compatible with your natural trends. Now, you might find that having the space to be by yourself is much easier than you would think. Perhaps you live alone, and in that order have a lot of time to yourself, but maybe you've used over distraction. This is your opportunity to sit in stillness and go within and get some ideas about where you are. And if you live with roommates, a spouse, partner, or family members, perhaps you're seeking the time by yourself. Maybe this is an opportunity to go outside, to ask for that time away from everyone, to be in the quiet. We begin this process simply by asking ourselves, what am I feeling? This starts the whole exploration. Keep your identification very simple with 4 states: mad, sad, glad, and scared. Many times you'll discover a mix of emotions, so spend some time with yourself and just feel what's there, labeling everything that you discover. Be mindful to also notice what's under the surface, because your internal climate often comes with layers. What lies on the top as the most obvious state may be very different from what's sitting in the lower layers. Think of it like an iceberg floating in the water, partially submerged. What's above the water in your conscious self, the iceberg above the waterline demonstrating surface self, can be quite varied from what lies under the water in your subconscious. In addition, rate what you discover by intensity. In other words, if you find yourself with sadness, ask, how sad am I on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most intense. Creating an internal barometer will help us get a sense of a range of our current state. It also helps us judge how it changes over time, so that we can evaluate how we've evolved and healed. Next, identify the thoughts that accompany what you're feeling. Emotional reactions come from the beliefs we hold about ourselves and our world. Those beliefs are thoughts powered by feelings and emotions. When situations arise that confirm the beliefs that we hold, we can become triggered even without being aware of what thoughts stand in place behind our sadness, our anger, or our fear. Situations that manifest in alignment with your belief system keep accompanying emotions active, fueling the reason behind how you feel and confirming how we see ourselves and others. Identifying your thoughts brings the opportunity to change your mind about any situation. So as you write your thoughts down or contemplate what they are, challenge them. Ask yourself, is this true? And does it have to be this way? Especially consider, am I willing to see this differently? Then brainstorm other ways you could see the situation. Here are great opportunities to change long-standing, generational, and societal beliefs that cause enormous stress. If identifying current thoughts and emotions feels elusive or cloudy, consider what's been bothering or triggering you in the past day or weeks. Outside events are a great way to help you identify what's really going on inside. The event itself is often a catalyst, and an opportunity to become more familiar with you and how you see the world. Then use the same steps of identifying thoughts and feelings about what you discover that we previously discussed to become familiar with your internal climate. Tool number 2. Accept what you discover. After getting familiar with the thoughts and emotions you're currently carrying, the next step is to acknowledge and accept them. Now, I know that sounds quite elementary. However, you'd be surprised how many people get into a wrestling match with themselves because they don't like what they discover, and they spend a lot of effort and time pushing away that awareness, trying to keep it from their conscious mind. We cannot resolve anything that we refuse to accept. Notice I didn't say that you have to like what you discover. Acceptance is more about acknowledgement in some ways, a willingness to say to yourself, this is how I feel right now, and that's okay even if I'd rather not feel that way. I accept that this is where I'm at this moment. Tool number 3. Become aware of blockages to being present with your feelings. There are common blocks to being present with how we feel and think, including self-judgment or self-criticism, guilt, overdoing, numbing out, and grinding away. Let's look at each one of these blocks to see if any of them fit you, and then we can consider what we might be able to do. Number 1. Self-judgment or self-criticism. This is a marvelous way to stop your feelings dead in their tracks. Reality is that judgment or criticism directed towards yourself really doesn't stop the feelings. It just attempts to discard your internal state. The feelings that you deem inappropriate, deemed that way by your inner critic. This in turn leads to feelings of guilt or shame, our second block. Guilt or shame is a result of putting yourself down for how you feel or what you think. It may be a sense of wrongdoing or present in a negative self-talk that says, oh my, I shouldn't feel this way, this is bad. Generally, guilting or shaming ourselves is an unhealthy, learned coping skill from childhood authority figures. These are the adults that told you or implied that any feelings or thoughts, but lightness and upliftment and happiness is wrong. In other words, they are the don't feel interjects from parents and caregivers that leave us with the belief that our internal climate is to be feared, hidden, or punished if it's not all sunshine and giggles. On the other hand, it might be a voice that tries to squash unbridled joy, because we were meant to feel that joy is childish, too exuberant, or that playing is unacceptable. The third blockage is called overdoing. It's a way that we stay so busy that we can outrun the tidal wave of emotions chasing us down the proverbial beach of life. Activity is helpful and healthy. Overdoing, though, attempts to push away our internal climate through movement, exercise, overwork, projects, anything that gets in the way of us feeling. Be mindful when overdoing sneaks up in your life. The fourth blockage is called numbing out. It's a common blockage to facing our emotions too. We may use any number of activities or substances to numb out, like food, alcohol, drugs, books, or even sleep. Numbing out might surface even in another way, and that is to actually feel numb. That blockage is an attempt to cover up intense emotions. So if you find yourself feeling numb, know that you are blocking your awareness to an emotion that feels very overwhelming or unacceptable to you. Our fifth and last common blockage is called grinding away. Grinding away is the mental game that we play with ourselves, trying to figure out what to do next, what solutions could fix our problems, or the endless research that we might engage in as an attempt to mentally understand our situation instead of feeling our feelings. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. We must all problem solve. We must look at what we've learned and understand our circumstances to discover new solutions. These mental tools, though, must be kept in balance. Out of balance, we find ourselves spending our day grinding away at all the ways to fix our ills, spinning in a vortex of mental energy strong enough to make us physically unsettled. If you find yourself spending hours mentally turning your situation over and over to explore it from every possible angle, grinding away is the blockage in your way. This endeavor is an attempt to keep you from feeling the powerful feelings that are so painful. If only I could just figure this out. That kind of activity of the mind to prevent your heart from grieving. So what do we do with these blockages? We first must become aware of what they are. Then we allow ourselves to feel the feelings that those blockages are trying to prevent us from looking at and experiencing, to allow them to pass through us. Tool number 4. Give yourself time to process how you feel and time to have a break from it. Resolving our discomfort doesn't come from dwelling in it 24/7. We must find a way to balance out the desire to navigate what we feel with moving beyond it to focus on life. Time to be with ourselves and time to get out of our own way and live. This is what makes challenging situations bearable. When we can allow ourselves a break from the energy of a situation, knowing that a solution and resolution comes with time and space, we give ourselves the respite to remove ourselves from thinking and feeling about whatever difficulty is before us. This is a time for necessary distractions. So here's an ode to doing something else. A list to help you add to your already existing list of distractions to help you navigate. Exercise, simple chores, meals with family, arts and crafts, getting outside, taking a bath or a shower, using prayer and meditation, reading, watching a movie, playing a game, spending time and playing with your kids, neighbors, or friends, talking to a friend. Add to your list as you feel drawn. Even keeping one posted on your refrigerator can help remind you of things that you can do as a healthy distraction when you need a break from your own internal climate. Tool number 5. Recognize that healing comes in stages and is a process. Processing loss or grief comes in stages and is not a linear process. And while many may not consider this COVID-19 quarantine pandemic situation a time to go through the stages of grief, it is that, and we are still in it. Remember, everyone's process is unique when dealing with grief and loss. Your process is going to be unique to you. There's no right way or wrong way to make your way through it. But it is a process, and one to honor in yourself and others. In their book on grief and grieving, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler define 5 nonlinear stages that shed light on the process of grieving. This from their book called On Grief and Grieving, Finding the Meaning of Grief Through the 5 Stages of Loss. The stage number 1 is called denial. This is the stage where we experience the world as overwhelming, confusing, and meaningless. Denial and shock aid our process of navigating loss to allow it to filter through our consciousness in a safe way. Stage 2 is anger. The anger stage may be filled with many, many layers, especially emotional pain, giving a sense of power or palpable experience to the overwhelming feelings of loss. The third stage is bargaining, filled with what-ifs and if-onlys. This stage recognizes the deals we make to avoid a pending loss or to escape from our current pain. The fourth stage is called depression. This is a typical response to a major loss. This stage shows the depth of our grieving journey, especially the emptiness. And the last is acceptance. In this stage, the reality of the loss is accepted. That doesn't mean that we believe the loss was okay, or that we don't miss what we are grieving. Instead, we accept our feelings, create life anew, and move on. Remember, these stages are non-linear, and we may move forward and feel like we're moving backward or jumping around in these 5 stages. Remember, it is unique to you, and you will find your way through it. Tool number 6. It's called Get Familiar with Your Current Needs. Unmet needs can leave us feeling vulnerable and unnurtured. What remains unmet in us is frequently a source of emotional struggle. Many of us even have difficulty identifying what our needs are, having spent a lifetime of focusing on others. So tool number 6 is to spend time identifying your current needs and what you can do to get them met. Tool number 7. Consider what you may have gained through your current challenges. Shifting to recognition of uplifting changes that occurred through challenges helps us see the good in our life. Perhaps the loss of a loved one made us really appreciate them, for example. Perhaps the isolation through quarantine helped you find new ways to communicate and be present with your immediate family. The pandemic on a higher level was meant to change our current state of affairs, to rectify the extremes of greed and poverty, of lack and abundance, to refocus the world on what's most important, to reconnect us to people in a whole new way, to shift an overworking, money-driven focus to greater purpose. So reflect on what you've gained in your time of loss. What changes are here to stay because they demonstrate an evolution to a more meaningful life? And what you want to let go of because it doesn't serve your highest good, and the joy that you'll have in letting that go and what's to come because of it. Tool number 8. You are never alone. Remember, being alone is not possible. In addition to the friends, families, and neighbors in your life, you have hordes of angels, guides, teachers, passed over loved ones, and Source as constant companions. You are ever surrounded by and held in love. If you are feeling isolated and separated from others, ask your angels to hold and comfort you. Call on sacred teachers from your past learning to help you. Activate the awareness of God in you to carry you through this moment and give you the courage to face whatever's before you, and watch how your energy shifts. This also may be the time to reach out for assistance if you find the burden of walking through loss or grief becomes too heavy to bear yourself. Health professionals, trusted spiritual teachers, counselors, and other groups are there to provide guidance and support. For more about psychospiritual treatment, intuitive healing, and energy work, please visit the website listed in this podcast. I'd be happy to help. We will all be traveling on our own path with the challenges from this pandemic and the continued effect it will have on our world. I hope this podcast has helped you face your internal climate kindly, courageously, and with loving acceptance, and that it gave you pause to consider what your current needs are so you can discover how to meet them. I hope you were reminded of the ways that you can help yourself, as well as all the ways that you have support in your life. This time, as challenging as it is full of beautiful opportunities. I trust you'll discover all of them. Be blessed. That concludes today's episode from A Journey in Soul Discovery. Thank you for joining me. I welcome your comments, your likes, your follows, and anything you would like to share about what you found here today. I hope you discovered what you were looking for. For more information, please join me at www.pathways2innerpeace.com. Thank you for letting me share my love, my passion, and my light. And as always, be blessed.